Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Scott and Jaime Show. I am Scott.
And I'm Jaime.
This week we're going to talk about vision. Jaime, what's vision? Is it about our eyes?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
What'd you do?
That's it. It's about going to the eye doctor.
Everybody go to the eye doctor.
Right.
Now, vision is this idea of taking the time to be really specific about a goal that you're working on, so you know, so you see, so you taste, so you feel what success in that goal really looks like. And taking the time to really experience it with all of your senses ahead of time allows your brain to sort of understand that it's possible to see it and to make it a reality.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we get stuck in the weeds, especially entrepreneurial people who are in small businesses, anyone really who has a career, gets stuck in the weeds and they don't think long term. And it doesn't mean that that has to come true, but to think, what do you want it to look like 3 to 5 years from now, or even 10 to 20 years from now, can be very, very helpful for you to figure out now, what are you doing to get there?
Yeah.
Without the pressure of, oh my gosh, I have these 5 steps to take. It doesn't have to be that specific.
And not without, you don't have to understand how you're going to get there.
Right.
You just know that this is a place I want to go.
Yeah, and so I was having breakfast yesterday morning with a man named Joe Himley, who runs an amazing real estate company called Best Address Real Estate here in Washington, D.C. You will not find a better company to work with. And Joe is just an amazing entrepreneur.
Right.
And he asked me, well, where do you want to see velocity in the next 5 years? And then he asked me in the next 10 years and the next 20 years. And I answered every single question, and I was so curious about how it was all going to end up. And then he said, well, how many people do you want in this program? And how many in that program? And how much money will that mean for you? And when you retire, who will run it? How will you make money then? And it was just an amazing process. It took about 20 minutes. He asked a lot of... Joe has a beautiful sort of vibrant personality.
Yeah.
And that intensity and my intensity combined probably was shaking the floor at Open City, which is a restaurant in D.C.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I realized how important it was for me to go a certain way with velocity in a much more coaching school type way, which I think would be an amazing place for us to be several years from now. And it's something I've talked to you about sort of a roundabout way, but it's just, I think it'd be an amazing way for Velocity to move forward, to become the premier coaching company and premier coaching school in the United States.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I did a vision exercise when we first started our company, and we did this with all of our students, and so I did it as well. And I wrote it down. It was like a page and a half, like really, really specific of where I wanted to live and what I wanted to be doing and things like that. And I just happened to look at it the other day. And it was so funny because I talked about living in an apartment that had lots of windows, right? And I live in an apartment now, a condo that I bought a year and a half ago that has a ton of natural light and a lot of windows. And then I got really, really specific even with the furniture, like the style of the house. And I said, in the vision it said, there's a lot of Pottery Barn-esque furniture, and the biggest piece in my house is a Pottery Barn sofa, and I also have a Pottery Barn bed. So it's like, I really almost need to be careful when I write down in the vision, because I committed myself to buying Pottery Barn.
Yeah, right. And I think oftentimes the reason why people are afraid of having a vision is not just because they think they won't achieve it, but I think they also are afraid sometimes of achieving it.
Yeah.
It's like putting that line in the sand and saying, yeah, I'm going to go for that.
Yeah.
And if you announce it to the world, it makes a big difference than when you just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
And by announcing it to Joe Himley today, and something you know about, Jaime, and so does Matt, our other colleague, it made it more real for me and made me a little bit more excited about something that I wasn't quite sure that was the path I wanted to go down.
Yeah, I just think it takes sometimes the thinking that you think is impossible and turns it into a possible, and not because you're writing down all the steps, but because you're just simply really understanding what success looks like in that category of your life.
Absolutely. Yep. So Joe Himley, thanks a lot for pushing me this morning to making me think outside the box and thinking forward. We really appreciate it. And that's it for this week, Jaime.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.